AD carry ng Team Manila Eagles. Sana supportahan nyo kami sa darating na GPL. Supportahan nyo kami para pwede namin ma-represent ang Philippines sa Worlds. Thank you.
Thank you for flying Philippine Airlines, the heart of the Filipino. Mabuhay at maraming salamat po, and welcome to Bangkok.
Ito. Ano yung bag mo?
Ay, hindi sa akin yan.
Putik ka!
Ay, wala akong alcohol eh.
Dito to magkikita.
Sabi ni Ford, on the way na daw sila. Yun ba tayo sa Malaw?
Oo.
So ngayon nandito tayo sa practice area pagkatapos kumain, tapos magpa-practice na sila, testing nila yung mga accounts sila sa Thailand. Tapos few practice games, tapos pahinga na para bukas.
So, hi guys!
Good afternoon, Southeast Asia, and we welcome you to the most exciting day of all League of Legends tournaments, the Garena Premier League Summer 2017. I'm Vulcan, and with me is Atlas. We'll be your shoutcasters on this long journey to determine who is worthy moving on to Worlds 2017.
Definitely, that's going to be 7 teams from 6 regions battling it out for that chance to get to the World Championship 2017, the most prestigious tournament in all of League of Legends. And definitely, this is the first day, and we'll be going to the first game very, very soon. It's just so exciting with a new format. There's a lot of new faces, and it's just so like grueling, all the preparation of all the teams coming up to this point. So it's going to be very, very exciting to really get into it, as we'll be getting into the drafting soon as, of course, our first game. What better way to start off the Garena Premier League than with 2 teams with birds in their logos. It's going to be Resurgence from Singapore versus Team Manila Eagles from, of course, the Philippines. Let's get right into it. Okay, the bands for Resurgence will be the Jarvan, Thresh, and the Morgana from Rocks here. And the TME bands will be Maokai, Cho'Gath, and Galio. Very tank-centric meta here in 7.16. And we look at the first pick here for Resurgence, picking up the Kalista. As for the other picks here, it's going to be the Zac, the Braum, and the Twitch for TMES for Resurgence. Still, another tank is going to be the Gragas, as well as the Rakan there for the support, along with Ciela on that Kalista.
I wonder what the teams are actually feeling today. This is the opening of the first of the group stages. Now it will be Resurgence and Team Manila Eagles actually showing it off in their first game, marking today as the start of the GPL Summer 2017. What are your expectations on this GPL this time? Because if we compare it to the GPL last split, everything right now is different. New format, 2 slots for Worlds. I think all the team members here are excited to see if they have a chance or a shot to make it.
They'll definitely be excited, and the pressure is here for a lot of new faces. But of course, we've got some veterans here from the GPL. New faces here for Resurgence, however. Looking at Intreso, some of you may have heard of Intreso from before. He's been playing in Southeast Asia for quite a while. Unfortunately for Resurgence, 2 of their members cannot make it to GPL. That's going to be Revive and Raven because they have exams as well, a few issues here and there. But of course, they're all well and good. But here's going to be their subs. Rock and Intreso are going to be for Resurgence for today. As for the bans, Kled against Rock and the Cassiopeia against Intreso. As for Resurgence, they're going to be banning out the Corki and the Lucian against Trevor. Definitely, I don't think these are really marquee champions. The Trevor is more likely to actually, after all, he already got the Twitch. The Shen here picked up by JLC, so turning back the switch from Rampage 2017 into a tank as well. But we have to remember that even on those tanks, JLC is a very aggressive top laner. We'll see how Rock can handle that.
Resurgence, so I mean, it's the fact that they have 2 Thailand imports. There's clearly this language barrier, and I wonder, this is a bit of a different Resurgence we've seen and how they were dominating in their respective region. Yeah. So this is something that's pretty new. I wonder if Resurgence is actually ready for the sudden roster shakeup, especially when it comes to the AD carries.
Definitely. So they definitely need to break their backs for this one, but I'm pretty sure that Resurgence can actually handle the pressure here. They have someone who's been into the Southeast Asian scene for quite a while, Intreso, as well as the experience from the previous GPL. That's something that TME doesn't have. Ciela is returning from the previous GPL, so he is bringing that knowledge from him, with him rather, to this GPL Summer from GPL Spring. So all this is going to be super exciting, very explosive. I'm definitely going to expect a lot of team fighting come from both of these teams. Looking at the comp so far, the Braum locked in 4 rocks, so that's going to be topping off the rest of the composition here with Ari on Trevor, as well as Coops playing that Zac. So I really like both of these compositions so far, especially I really like Resurgence. The Kalista, the use of the Kalista, because interestingly, Kalista has not received nerfs or buffs, but she's been rising in popularity because of the tank meta that's appearing. So this is definitely something that they have to expect. The initiation that will come from throwing Ares into the fray with the quickness and the rest of Rakan's kit. So definitely a lot of power in that bot lane, lots of utility as well, with a Baron control too. So you have to be very, very careful. TME as well. So Ciela is very mechanically gifted as an AD carry, and Kalista is a champion that needs a lot of awareness of the situation for your positioning, for your targeting. So I think Marky might actually meet his match down there in the bot lane, because looking at the Pro Gaming Series here in the Philippines, that's a very aggressive bot lane, Marky and Rocks, but Ciela along with Ares might actually give them the run for their money.
So let's see who's going to be the more aggressive bot lane, especially the fact that TME, this is their first GPL. So
yeah,
when entering this matchup, I gotta say for TME side, they have the disadvantage when it comes to experience, but leave it to their own mechanics to actually make up for the lack of experience. So let's hope that TME may actually stand up to Resurgence, who was formerly known as Rigel.
So yeah, formerly known as Rigel, so they do have that experience, do have that knowledge as well. So they have to be really wary of the opposition. Both of these teams have their strengths and weaknesses coming into the GPL Summer 2017. So coming into this, what do you think so far? Yeah.
what do you expect from this matchup? Like your predictions. Let's hear from you.
Because the thing is, the performance of Rigel from the previous GPL wasn't super impressive. However, they did have months to actually practice that, hone their skill in their home region, and coming into the Southeast Asian team along with having 2 members from the Serpents and their 2 Thai imports. I think they have a lot of things to offer to the Southeast Asian scene. As for TME, they do have the mechanics down pat, but what we always discuss here in the Philippines is that there's a lot of micro, but there's a real need for macro if you want to survive in the international scene, and I really hope that TME has honed that. It's really going to be necessary if they want to stand a chance against any Southeast Asian team.
And this is going to be the group stages, double round robin format. So if you put it in a simple way, each team actually has 1 chance of actually losing 1 game, but of course you don't want to risk it. You always want to be on top. Whoever comes on top in the group stages will be facing in the next stage Vietnam's first seed, the Gigabyte Marines, and then Thailand's first seed would be the Ascension game.
So those 2 teams have the advantage of information. They're not going to reveal their strats in the group stages. Plus, they can just sit back, relax, and then look at what the other teams are offering, what they're preparing. So that kind of advantage is actually really important. As I said, macro play, the strategizing is definitely something that you need to pay attention to, and being able to look at what others are bringing to the table while you're just hiding your hand of cards, it's a huge advantage.
I wonder what the Philippine representatives are feeling right now, but let's get straight to the game of this is Game 1, Day 1 of the group stages of the GPL Summer 2017. Right, Resurgence on the blue side against TME on the red side.
Team Manila Eagles Cups definitely had to run away a little bit from that 5-man invade, but it's going to be Cups now using that opportunity to ward the red side jungle of Resurgence. Resurgence in kind actually wards the red side jungle of Cups as well.
So this is going to be an interesting matchup because we are seeing a roster shakeup for Resurgence, whereas we're seeing TME, the new faces to the GPL format, the way the team plays. Let's hope that the TME has what it takes to call themselves one of the GPL squads.
So this is going to be information for both teams that Eternal is definitely going to be starting Raptors as is standard for these kinds of junglers. As for Cooks, he will be starting on the red side with a good leash coming from JLC here. Both of them starting on the red side means that they're going to have a bit healthy clear, and it seems like the focus will be on different sides of the map. So that's going to be their game plan for now. Looking at the laning phase, however, pretty solid across the board for both teams. The Jace has huge potential to punish the Shen, actually, but the Shen, if he survives, can actually pressure the map a lot once he reaches level 6.
This is actually a classic matchup where who would actually win in a matchup between a Shen or a Jace, because when it comes to top lane matchups, it's all about pressure. If Shen, actually, especially JLC, picks up the early Tiamat, he will be putting that Jace in a really bad spot. But it's the fact that JLC cannot all in on a Jace, or else he's going to be losing a trade a lot.
Definitely, and of course, can get punished by that range a lot. Cups might be in trouble there, but it seems like Ciela will not actually be pushing through with that. Way too risky, especially with her jungler on the other side of the map, because Cups did start on the top side. That means that Cups will be just in time for this for 3v2, so they do not push through that. But they do have that information that the TME jungler is on that side of the map.
So Eternal is spotted on the blue side, so Cups, on the other hand, will be retained to the red side. But when it comes to aggression, we can see it already in the bot lane. Some action going on, some trade-offs here and there. Resurgence wants to show TME that we are the more aggressive bot lane.
Seems like a few pings here and there onto the top lane, but looking at the pathing of both of these junglers, at this point, they will meet each other in the top lane after they clear. Eternal pinging on his way to the Cups' jungle. And I don't think he's going to push through it. If he does, he will find no Raptors there. He gets spotted out by a ward. Trevor might be the target of the gank, but after all, TME did have...
Held right there.
Oh,
Eternal
man.
to the flash and stun with the first blood, going to Resurgence.
That is unfortunate for TME. Trevor should have seen that coming, because there was a ward that detected Eternal on the top side of that river. So So he should have expected either he's going for the invade against Koops or a gank on me. So Trevor getting insta-gib there while behind in CS means that that's a huge disadvantage for the Ahri, and as an assassin you do not want that to happen. As for Koops, we'll see how it's going to be. Seems like a gank will happen there in the top lane.
Oh boy, Rock is in a big trouble. He does get CC by Koops, trying to fight back. Jealousy is very low. It will be a trade for a 1-for-1.
1-for-1 indeed, and I'm pretty sure that's more worth it for Rock. That means that kill, because JLC only got an assist there, and both of these are tanks, so the more gold value actually goes to Rock, who gets a kill and is able to build faster into the path much more into his damage. So it's quite troubling. Here comes TME.
TME's bot lane trying to show some aggression. Rocks for the protection with the Braum, but when it comes to all ends, I gotta say for Resurgence, they do have the advantage when it comes to mobility. But let's talk about the first blood bounty going to the mid lane. This is going to be a big trouble for Trevor, knowing that he does struggle when he is behind. He won't be able to detect or dictate the flow of the mid lane, so this is going to be trouble for TME.
Being forced to build 2 Doran's rings means that he will be behind in terms of the itemization. The mana passive also does not
look
stack.
at that damage coming from Rock. JLC's double cloth armor back first was not that, doesn't work that well against a Jace who actually got the more gold value. 3 long swords and a Doran's blade.
Yeah, that's gonna be 3 is greater than 2 in the mathematical equation. Koops being spotted out by Ward means that Intresso knows exactly where the gank may come from. And so far, Intresso very, very solid in his laning, living up to his reputation. So far, TME's bot lane getting quite bullied. But
especially the mid lane.
Yeah, mid lane being bullied as well. The biggest thing here is
Koops
Koops
going
might
in for
go for a gank.
He does get Inferno. There would be a stun lock. There's the response from the Dragon Splash and Eternal for the response counter gank. But Trevor lands a charm, but no kills will be exchanged.
Yeah, Trevor got zoned out of that fight, actually. Intresso with his heal is able to
Stan
pressure
United
Trevor.
coming in, Rocks for the frontline, flashes in, Ciela does not get taunted by JLC, Marky flashes in onto the turret, there is the stun, but no kill will be secured for TME, whereas Ciela still showing some aggression towards Marky. Marky's very low.
Marky is definitely low. He is popping that potion for a little bit of regen, but that is quite a wasted ultimate coming from JLC. Stand United being used, that means for a few minutes, he also doesn't have his teleport, so for a few minutes, the pressure from the top lane is completely gone, and Rock can use that to his advantage by just shoving the top lane, and then JLC cannot respond to any all-ins happening in the rest of the map.
And when it comes to itemization, Rock is not wasting any time, already picking up the Serrated Dirk, whereas JLC will be actually building against the lethality, picking up more armor.
That is the
and
Bramble
it will be the
Vest
Bramble
itemization.
Vest.
So definitely the CS lead is starting to manifest for the top lane and mid lane, and Tresor and Rock, very impressive laning so far, and that's also with the help of Eternal. Eternal, I have to commend that he has done a little bit for his team here, and is really helping them out, especially Rock and Intresso. As for the bot lane, Marky is matching the CS from Ciela, even though they are getting bullied and being pushed into the lane, harassed a lot, but it's going to be a different story once the skirmishes actually start later in the game. We'll see how TME actually recovers from that small hiccup in the early game.
So when it comes to mid-game spy, I guess for TME, they will have more control in the bot lane. When they hit the level 6, GLC will be able to engage more aggressively, knowing that Rocks does have his back. Koops goes in for the gang. There's the knock up onto Rock. The taunt will connect onto Rock. JLC goes in for the kill. He's very low. Who gets the kill? It's JLC.
JLC gets a kill that he needs. Good gank comes from Koops, focusing on the top lane there. That will relieve a lot of pressure from JLC, getting another kill for that top lane jungle pair. It is going to help a little bit into itemization. However, Rock does get that death there, so he will be missing quite a little bit of CS. The more important thing is, even though JLC, of course, he's getting that kill, that gold is going to attack, and even if we say JLC is a very aggressive top laner, with the value that you get from the opportunity cost you get from ganking top a lot more than the rest of your lanes might actually be too much, especially if Trevor is not getting that boost that he needs to actually get the kills out.
When it comes to boosting, I think when it comes to gold value, Internal will have more value because he will be the heart of the team clash. He'll be the setter, the hard engage tool that Resurgence needs, whereas Trevor will be this mobile assassin. So when it comes to frontal engages, Resurgence will have a really good advantage, but Marky was aiming for some aggression there.
Looking for something here.
Here comes the quickness for the charm. Focuses onto Ciela. There is the unbreakable and the glacial fissure. Ciela gets knocked into the air. He gets knocked up, stunned by the frostbite. And next is Aris, the support. One more stack. There's the stun. Coops picks it up.
And that is quite unfortunate timing for the bot lane of Resurgence to actually go to the riverside to try and get some vision down. Ciela and Ares walk into their deaths. They should have known that Coops was right around the corner, or that Eternal wouldn't be there fast enough for the support. And this actually gives TME the potential to get this Drake uncontested. It would be too dangerous for Eternal to try and get that. But yeah, knowing that the level 6 spike is there for both of these bot lanes, the fact is the Unbreakable can just block out a lot of Ciela's damage, and the fact that they were pincered in by TME without any kind of help for Resurgence's bot lane means that that is an easy 2 kills for TME.
And I gotta say, first, when it comes to value, TME does have more combat stats thanks to that Infernal Drake. And seeing how Marky already picks up the Village Water Cutlass, he will have more favorable trades against Ciela. And when it comes to CC, Rox already has a level 6 spike, so Ares has to really think properly before it goes in onto a draw.
Yeah, because it's very, very difficult, and even if you use the the Fate's Call to get Ares into the fight, it will be blocked entirely by Rox once he uses the Unbreakable as well, blocking out a lot of damage as well, denying Ren stacks from Ciela, and that actually leaves Marky with enough time and space to actually just get the spray and pray out and get his own stacks of his poison to get the Contaminate, and that's actually what killed them in that fight, especially with Coops jumping in. They did not expect that, seeing as they were just jumping into the river, swimming into the river.
Marky looking for some action. There is
Oh,
Marky
wow.
with a submarine tactic. Camouflage right there. Flash from Ciela trying to back away. Teleport from the top lane. Here comes Face Skull for 2-man knockup. 4 members of Resurgence spot in the bot lane. They do want that first turret of the game for that spike. Trevor though trying to respond, but Intresso blocks him off.
Intresso actually getting denied the roam as well. That would have been a 5-man if Intresso went
Oh, Shockwave connects onto Trevor. Here comes Eternal for the cleanup and the CC to assist Intresso.
Man, once again, Trevor does not pay attention to where Eternal is. But here comes Marky. They might go for something else here in the bot lane.
Going for Ciela, he does get one stack. That will be one stun in. Glacial Fissure for the knockout. Very low. Marky picks up the kill onto Ciela. Ares is going to be next. He flashes in. It's a tower dive by TME. Stun under the turret. Rox tanks it in. Ares very low. Marky's taking some hits. He gets the double kill.
Double kill is going to be very scary for Resurgence now that there's 3 kills on one of the star players of TME, Marky. And I think he will be able to finish his Blade of the Ruined King as he backs for this one. But yeah, coming back to that mid lane, because that's a worry. Even though Marky is getting ahead, when your assassin mid lane is not popping off, that is quite dangerous for the team as a whole, because that means there's no roam pressure from the assassin, and there's going to be no kill pressure from the assassin once more skirmishes start in the mid game. And Trevor, the why he died those 2 times is because he was not paying attention to where Eternal was. He already knew that Eternal came from the bot side of the map, and he still tried to fighting Intresso on the bot side of the mid lane. So what happened there was it was an easy body slam flash for Eternal, and that he had Spirit Rush that entire time.
So looks like Resurgence is catching up in terms of who is the easier lane to tank, and it's going to be Trevor. He is getting picked off by Eternal and Intresso. 2 deaths already onto Trevor. He will be having a very difficult time when it matters, especially when team fights happen. TME needs that AP burst, so he is very behind, but
not just in gold, also in experience. He's 45 CS behind and level 9 against level 11, and that is quite tragic for, as I said, I keep saying, an assassin, and the rest of TME has to really pull their weight here to actually try and recover from this Eternal under a ward. He does not know, but I think the ward, the pings will actually give it away for him. Teammates giving a little bit of a heads up. Yes, that will be confirmed by the sweeping lens.
So Eternal is focusing onto the bot lane side, seeing how Marky is shining right now at 40 minutes into the game, already picking up the weaker foe, almost completing the blade of the ruling game.
Yeah, and the fact is, because he already did his job in the mid lane, Trevor is horribly behind in CS and experience, and I think Intresso can actually be very self-sufficient in this lane, and this gives Eternal all the time in the world to gank this bot lane. He doesn't really need to pressure top lane too much at this point, but the bot lane needs a lot of attention from this Gragas.
And it's the fact that at this point in time, Ciela is 0-2 on a Kalista, whereas Marky is 3-0 on a Twitch. So when team fights do happen, it will be TME coming out on top thanks to Rox, because he will be blocking a lot of rend stacks from Ciela. So this is going to be Resurgence thinking a bit differently, thinking that maybe we should focus more on bot lane. Trevor right now, as you said, is very behind looking at the CS difference.
At this point, I think he has to roam around. I think at this point he should have enough damage to actually clear the wave against Intresso. Of course, the wave will still get pushed very hard if Intresso commits to it, but if he's able to roam and get a good one at that, then he will get back into the game, at least in the experience. But of course, the opportunity cost for that is the XP and the CS. He's almost 50 behind.
Eternal in the top side. GLC backs away, dodges the body slam, leaving his turret alone, but it will be TME. Maybe securing the first turret of this game.
Definitely. They did get the initiative there for the bot side, and even though Resurgence very quickly pushes this with a red buff as well as Rock wailing on it, it's going to be first turret going to TME, Humanly Eagles.
It's going to be huge for me. Getting the first turret, and right on the bot side,
Aries alone.
Getting ganked by 3 members of TME. Marky's on a rampage, and now that the bot lane has been completely shut down, Marky is free to roam, free to exert his power and dominance.
And time for Infernal Drake, just in time actually. And the timing for that is very in TME's favor, because
no wards plays.
No wards plays, especially Eternal, since they committed so hard for that top lane turret. They lose not only their bottom lane turret, but also the Infernal Drake, and getting 2 stacks on TME of the Infernal Drake kind, it's very dangerous for Resurgent at this point to try fighting.
Bonus AD and AP, that would be 16% more value, and more value will stack up as Marky builds more AD, especially for JLC. We've seen him build tanks towards more damage oriented. This will complement him even more, but when it comes to top lane matchup, Rock already finishing up the Duskblade. So I think JLC will have to respect that. He did pick up the Boundary Vest and the Tiamat just to push faster.
And that Duskblade, Marky will have to watch out if ever they get into a fight. He has a lot of damage, but that's squishiness that Rock will want to smash into. As for TME, yes, we're talking about the 2 Infernal Drakes. I think the more important thing here is that it helps Trevor. It helps Trevor not be super behind.
Oh, look at that.
He's still quite at a disadvantage, but the 2 Infernal Drakes allows him to actually relax a little bit in one way or another. So it does help him recover from the deficit that he has.
Finishing up the Morello and the Sorcerer's Boots, so Trevor will be catching up in damage, but when it comes to rotations and map control, I gotta say for TME, they do have wards placed in where it matters, but Resurgence is not slacking in wards. Marky, maybe a bit too aggressive. Stan United is ready and available. He goes in on to Ciela. There's Trevor for the engage. Scoops over the wall for 3-man lockup. Stan United will try out through. There's the flash in, the quickness, but he changes his mind. Goes under the turret. They're in a ball-like position. It will be Intresso. Shockwave will determine the change of side. It will be GLC just blocking Intresso. GLC flashes over the wall. Intresso chases him down. Intresso gets the kill.
That was quite an overcommitment from TME. The most important part there was that TME was split apart. One of their tanks, one of their frontliners, was on the other side of the fight, while Rox was having a hard time getting a good angle.
Oh, flash from Rox. There's the knockup. Trevor is there trying to go in for the dive. Marky picks it up instead.
They do pick it up.
There comes the Fate's Call.
It's going to be 1-for-1 so far in this mid lane extended fight.
Changes his mind.
Yeah, but Yeah, the fact is, in the positioning there was very bad for TME because JLC was on the other side of the fight, and Rox could not find a good angle to defend his carries because he's fighting from 2 different angles.
That is a bad position. Everyone is going to choke in that small spot, especially in Treso. He will thrive in that area. Notice that he still has the shockwave.
They're still going for it.
Goes in for the dive onto the support area. He's knocked into the air. Glacier Fisher onto the turret again. Marky is dominating, but a flashing body slam might finish him off. He flashes away with a heal. He will be surviving, backing away. He still has that bandit. Coops has that cell division. It will be TME leaving him for dead.
Cell division does not save him there, but still another 1-for-1. But more kills going to Marky. He's now 6-0-1 with Clips getting a few kills and assists from that as well. Very even in gold so far, getting a huge boost, however, for the 16% additional ADAP for TME. But the fact is, these little hiccups, you are noticing that TME, when it comes to like hard team fights here in the GPL Summer 2017, it seems like the positioning might not be entirely there. Of course, you could say that it's the nerve, like it's the team's first time in a GPL, but of course these players are a few of these players are not strangers to the international scene.
Intresso fearlessly going on to Marky, rewards him with a shutdown. That would be Marky.
Oh, that's a lot of gold.
Himself. That's a shutdown bounty right there. A lot of gold distributed around the team and onto Intresso.
No, that's going to be a lot of eggs in the Intresso basket for Resurgence here. If he gets a good shockwave, TME will get annihilated. So the positioning will be even more important coming into these skirmishes and team fights.
Very difficult for Marky there. He had no summoners, no heal, no flash, could not even evade that shockwave. So what in Resurgence needs to back on is that Oriana. Impress the shockwave, but JLC will get tower dive, but he tries to back away, but it'll be Ciela's Ren to secure the kill.
That's going to be the bot lane trade for the turret for the kill in the top lane, but of course TME still quite behind in that trade because Marky died, but that is quite a gutsy play come from Team Manila Eagles, going straight for the Baron, seeing as most of Resurgence is there in the bot lane, but it's still 21. No wards plays 21 minutes, but they are taking this quite quickly with the Blade of the Ruined King.
Will they
Resurgence
steal it in time? Resurgence is there. Glacial Fissure for the slow. Coop smites the Baron. Here comes Ares 40 engaged, trying to back up. Rox is there just to bait them out. At least 3 members of TME gets the Baron.
Definitely a gutsy play from TME. Quite risky. If there was at least 1 second of delay there on the side of TME's decision making, Resurgence would have gotten there in time and they would have been annihilated by Resurgence. But of course, there was no Intresso for that fight, so a lot of the gold was not on Resurgence's living. So very calculated from TME. I really like that decision from them.
Yeah, especially the fact that Resurgence still traded off for 2 turrets. That's like same gold value as the Baron, as you can say, but at least they have the buff of the Baron. So Resurgence, 3 turrets down, gold lead is still onto them, whereas TME, they do have the Baron, they have the Infernal, they have the epic monsters in their side. So let's see if TME will actually use that, knowing that mid lane really struggled, could not even push in.
And this is the chance for Trevor to actually push in this mid lane turret, which will open up the rest of the map for TME.
They better use this Baron really till the last drop, because if they do not use this Baron properly, I think Resurgence will bounce back from this.
Definitely. And the gold right now, Resurgence is a little bit ahead, but this is just completely cancelled out. Actually, TME is ahead in gold value right now because of the Infernal Drakes. And I think they are making good use of this buff here. Cloud Drake going to Resurgence doesn't really matter too much, but that is going to be a turret for Resurgence, for TME rather, in the top lane. More gold value for the entirety of the team. Seems like TME still going for it for the second tier top lane turret, while Trevor is pushing that mid lane and JLC is pressuring that bot lane quite a lot. The 3-1-1 configuration still quite dangerous, however. If they get caught out, that's going to be 3v5, 3v4, and they cannot afford that. But JLC putting out a lot of pressure here with a Titanic Hydra, being able to just completely push out his bot lane. And he doesn't have the Baron buff, unfortunately, for TME. But look at that. He's pushing it with at a respectable pace.
At least he is pressuring Resurgence, splitting them up, not making them group up onto one lane. Just what happened in the top lane side. So right now, It will be the Baron play for TME. They are making it count so far. They got one turret. Marky is still on the top side with 3 members of TME. Against Ciala, Eternal is spotted there, so they will back off. GLC has to stand united. Marky is invisible right now, so they can try and engage this for very high risk, high reward, but I think Resurgence, if they win this clash, if ever does happen, they can bounce back and actually shut down TME's lead.
I think now they just have to back off and regroup for the next siege. They still have around a few minutes of that Baron buff left, so recalling, getting the gold value from your turrets actually is important. So you actually spend the gold, get those stats, because if they keep forcing the push without recalling, Resurgence is just going to keep recalling back and forth, buying more items, and that stat value will actually be on their side. But now TME spent that gold, and Trevor actually gets even more gold by taking that mid lane turret, which...
What is Marky doing right now?
He's really looking for something.
Trying to stop the recall, but we can see that they do have their eyes on the right target, the heart of Resurgence, the breathing, living essence of Resurgence. They have to take down Orianna. If they do not take down Orianna, team clash-wise, TME will have a really bad time. We're in the bot lane side. There's a clash happening right here in the mid lane. Ares is there, Stand United connecting onto Trevor. Inferno might just use his Shockwave, already being used, so Shockwave is not available yet. So this will be TME backing off. No casualties yet.
No casualties on both sides, but the big resource is to Stand United. This leaves JLC with only his teleport to try and pressure and respond to any team fights happening that are not on his side of the map.
The Baron is gone. TME was able to secure 2 turrets in this game thanks to the Baron. So let's see. Resurgence showing some strengths right now. They are pushing the lanes at a steady pace, and I think Ciala, seeing that he did catch up in itemization, the Blade of the Ruined King, the Runan's Hurricane, that's more than enough to compensate for Rox's Unbreakable.
However, right now Resurgence does not want to fight, even though their composition is really made for it. Fate's Call, the only ultimate available for now. Shockwave up in a few seconds.
The next trick will be Mountain. This will further boost the pressure that TME can bring into this game. They do have 2 Infernals, complements the Mountain Drake. So let's see if Resurgence, they do have to take this away, because if TME gets the Mountain Drake, Resurgence is at the mercy of JLC. He loves to split push, and I think for Rock, he does have the damage to boast against JLC and at least match it up.
The Mountain Drake will actually be very scary for GLC split pushing, and it also assists Marky, because Twitch is one of those AD carries that is absolutely terrible at pushing turrets. So having that will actually help them out if they go for the siege, and it will really cover that kind of weakness come from AD carry like Twitch. However, Resurgence not missing a beat. Yeah, they are responding in kind for that, all those pushes in the top lane with their own aggressiveness in the top lane, and look at that, being able to just push this out so quickly. However, TME is not letting that slide. They take the bot lane turret as well, so 4 turrets on each side for both of these teams.
Intresso is the only one remaining here. Rox is there.
It's gonna be Ares recalling as well.
Look
JLC.
at the wave clears that Intresso brings, so TME cannot even push the bot lane. So it will be 4 turrets to 4. Even turret score right now. Trevor's in the mid lane.
They're looking to get a lead in the turret score here, but Rox,
Shockwave is not available anymore, so TME knows that it is on cooldown. This will give them a preemptive strike maybe, knowing that the Baron is almost live in 38 seconds.
Definitely. Without the Shockwave, it's going to be a huge disadvantage for Resurgence. Intresso really missed a beat there, because even if he had hit that Shockwave, he's hitting a very tanky target with only Ares supporting there in the mid lane, so I don't think he would have been able to kill him fast enough to actually just slay him and get the gold. So what here, there's no Shockwave.
For me, I think Resurgence right now, they do have a single click delete to remove Marky from a team fight. It's going to be that Gragas has the ball, and Intresso gives the ball to Gragas, and there's the clash into the Baron pit. They try to get control in terms of vision. They do have control. Quickness is gone.
Another big cooldown gone. Now the Shockwave is back in play. However, the quickness, a pretty big tool against Marky and Trevor, actually is now not available.
From Rock, he is not giving GLC a really good time. 3 members on The mid lane of TME 4, make it 4. So we're seeing Coops is there in the brush side. No wards placed there. Ares is
They
there.
can use this as an opportunity. There's no ultimate for Ares for this one.
There is no ultimate for... Let's see. Oh yeah, as you said, Ares has no ultimate, no quickness available, but Intresso does have the shockwave, so if Coops goes in, it could be his death sentence.
So they have to be really careful
I
about
love
this.
how Resurgence is playing this game so far. Very playing the mind of TME, showing that they do not have the response time. That's going to be one members invested in the bot lane for Resurgence, whereas GLC does have to stand united.
They have to be careful, however. Resurgence, no teleport on Rock. GLC has both his ultimate and teleport, so any play that TME makes on the other side of the map, they will be at an advantage.
Oh
Seems
boy.
like they know this. Resurgence does not know that the Baron might be up, but of course they have an idea. They have that control ward. They have to take it out to just deny the vision completely from Resurgence.
And seeing how Rock is still pressuring the bot lane, this is giving GLC a difficult time. Normally it's him doing it, but he's getting a taste of his own medicine. Coops is there in the Baron pit, trying to look for an engaging time. Internal gets slowed by Rocks. Here comes the Talisman of Ascension. Mike going for the engage. Trevor misses the charm and the combo.
It seems like JLC will just keep pushing that bot lane. Right now, Rock realizes that he doesn't have teleport. He has
Oh
to
boy,
join
4
the rest of
members
his
might
team.
get choked here. That would be a knockup denied by the Grag as Trevor is there over that wall. Very safe indeed. Shockwave only the 2 tankiest members of TME. Trevor deletes Yara. He gets the double kill. 2 members of Resurgence down, and it will be a chase on, maybe not. Take the Barret instead.
Yeah, definitely. With the jungler gone and the AD carry as well, there can be no way for Resurgence to actually contest this because Intresso also no longer has his shockwave. But the shock blast from Rock will be very painful.
They're
if it
not
hits
giving
onto
up
either
just
Trevor
yet.
or
They are
Marky.
trying to delay the Baron. Intresso is there. Low on mana. He does have the blue buff JLC. One more hit away, but it'll be Coops securing the Baron. It will be TME fighting back. Rox gets the frostbite, but he cannot engage in time. Rox is going there over that wall, trying to get Marky, but Marky gets the upper hand.
Gets even more kills here across the board. Plus Trevor gets a little bit of gold as well from that. Actually, his kills and assists are actually, let's actually take a look at that fight. I want you to look at Marky here because it's very, very close. He goes in, Marky along with JLC, and he gets knocked up and then knocked back. But the flash actually at the split second means that he's not caught in the shockwave, and that actually makes all the difference in this team fight. Because if he got caught down by the burst from the shockwave into the dissonance, then he would have just been taken down, and that's a huge DPS loss for Team Manila Eagles.
As I said, if you deny the shockwave of Resurgence, game set for TME, but leave it to Intresso. He was on point with that shockwave. If Marky did not have his flash there, it would be a dead round.
And now they have both Baron and a Mountain Drake and 2 Infernal Drakes, which is a huge boost in stats and sieging power for Team Manila Eagles. They have quite the gold lead as well, all of it concentrated in the right spots. And Trevor actually at this point has caught up quite a bit in terms of the kill score. He has equal amount of kills and assists to Intresso. Of course, the CS disparity is still there, but the later the game goes, the less it matters.
Ooh, look at the damage Marky is dishing onto Rock.
Still going for it.
Rock might be taken down. Here comes Intresso. There's the ball there. Baron play for TME. This is their second Baron play. It's securing the 5th turret for themselves. Now only the inhibitor turret remains in the mid lane, whereas Marky is in the bottom lane side. JLC has that stun united. He can respond to Marky.
He just
if
has to
things
shove
go
out that
bad.
top lane. He can be capable of that. So definitely something that they have to watch out for. The Baron should be used very, very carefully.
Boy. Marky with the submarine tactic. He wants to be sneaky like a little rat, and he wants to take down Resurgence in a very underhanded method, which actually works for TME.
Definitely, but he still has to be very, very careful because if he gets
High
caught
risk,
while
high
in
reward.
invisibility and he gets body slam and then the body slam gets followed up by the rest of Resurgence's damage, it's just going to be tragic for Team Manila Eagles after building such a lead. So they have to use this Baron buff, the rest of this Baron buff very, very carefully. It seems like right now they are waiting for more item spikes seeing as they're not completely committing to any pushes just yet.
Interestingly, Ciela picked up the Phantom Dancer for the Kalista, so he will be lacking in damage, but when it comes to survivability, Ciela has it, but it won't be that effective because when you're playing a Kalista, you would want to be in the heart of the team fight where you stack those Rens. So
I think getting more AD would have been more
yeah,
effective.
a duelist item like the Phantom Dancer will not really complement Ciela, but let's see right now, the Baron play is still live for TME. They will be taking down the 6 turrets for themselves. Marky is there, still camouflaged, and JLC is on inside.
Let's see, so far, a lot of pressure coming from JLC. And yeah, after all, Ciela is 3 levels behind Marky, as you said.
Looks
the
like
Phantom Dancer will not help in that regard.
looks like Resurgence bot lane duo will have to get a run for their money when it comes to the most aggressive bot lane. TME showing themselves that we are more dominant in this first game of the double round robin format in the GPL.
Definitely seeing they still have 2 minutes of Baron buff left. So they have to use that very effectively. It seems like top lane is their target for now. Marky is still very, very sneaky. If Ciela mispositions at least for 1 second, the crits coming from that Twitch will be very, very painful.
But Resurgence has this incredible wave clear, so TME, without the Baron, this will be very difficult. But if one member, only one member gets taken down by TME or Resurgence, that would be a fight broken out already, because if Intreso gets removed, TME is going to go all out.
And that's how TME has always been doing things in the Pro Gaming Series, and they're bringing it to GPL. They just really divide and conquer. How they do it is really, they're, as I always say, they're a hammer that
Look at
smashes
Marky,
into
he
things.
gets the crit overhand, he gets charmed by the quickness.
That's
Marky's
dangerous.
very low, he flashed away, he survives, was the stand united, but it will be Eternal taking the shutdown. Now members of TME are being choked right now by Resurgence. 2 members left for dead right now, and it will be them backing off. Rocks takes the kill onto Copes. Marky's small mistake pays them the prize.
That wasn't a small mistake,
Big
Vulcan. That was a huge mistake that might have cost them a lot of pressure for this mid-game, late game. And the fact is, even if Marky has a lot of damage potential, he shouldn't be like sneaking around like that in front lines, because as soon as Eternal sees him out of camouflage, he's going to jump on him with his fat body and then put him back into his team with explosive cast.
He relied too much onto the Stand United, and looking at the death timers right now, this might cause...
That's a big throw, because that's the inhibitor going to Resurgence.
Boy, one small mistake is more than enough for anyone to fall back. This is the GPL, where players will really take advantage of
You
your
can't look
smallest
away, you
mistake.
can't blink, you can't give them 1 second reprieve. Resurgence takes advantage of one mistake from Marky, and now they're back. So let's see how all that happens. See, he leaves himself open to all of this CC, body slam, grand entrance, quickness, everything. And even with the rest of the support from Versus team, the shockwave's just there to top it all off.
And it's the fact that Marky couldn't even dish out any damage. Look at the members of Resurgence. Look at the members of Resurgence, very healthy.
Because he was CC locked for the entirety of that fight. So that huge mistake, oh my. So now it's a decision for both of these teams.
One more small mistake from Marky will cost them the game. Let's hope he does not make it. The Baron will be alive in 24 seconds.
The Elder Drake as well, which is going to have huge value for TME. They have 3 Drakes under their belt.
This is the tipping point of this game. Everyone should really watch out. Should they take the Elder or the Baron? This could really determine who will win in the first game of the group stages. TME responding in. Baron is now live in 3 seconds. Elder will catch up in 5. This is going to be pressure for both of these teams, especially onto TME, because they are the new faces in the GPL.
This is a lot of pressure indeed for both of these teams, because the fact is, if TME gets an Elder Drake, it's going to be just straight up team fighting for them, but the Baron might give Resurgence the pressure to actually counter that.
Looking at the mini-map,
oh dear.
they do have the mountain
sneaky.
Very risky, no wards in place. TME might secure the Elder. This could change everything.
Without a
They
trade.
take the Elder without any trouble, and now Resurgence is trying to compensate for the Baron. The Shockwave
is gone.
This is big news for TME. Here comes the Glacial Fissure. Intresso just screwed up that Shockwave, and now TME is open to open and take the territory that Resurgence was building up. And look at
So
that
very
Baron
dangerous. Space Call is available. So is Explosive Cast.
going down quickly. Intresso is there. No Shockwave.
Marky.
Marky is very low. Stand United is there for the protection. Marky will be taken out by Rock, and there is no more damage, but Trevor still remains. He's on a rampage, but Rock, he gets the double kill. Look at the damage
Trevor.
from the Jace, and a triple kill for Rock. It's the battle of the bursts right now.
It's now 3 for 3 in the end for that, but once again, Marky gets caught out by so much CC, and I think Resurgence gets the upper hand here because they get some priority here in this mid lane, and they are forced to defend against that. Wow, Marky just completely threw the ball there once again by mispositioning, and even though Trevor, I think, is at this point recovering and completely redeemed himself from the early game deficit, look at what happens here. This is the problem when you're red side as an AD carry, is that when you're doing the Baron, you're completely open to everything else that the enemy team can throw at you. And that's what happened. Marky gets caught out by the CC, by the damage, and now all of their gold concentrated on that AD carry is down the drain. Trevor has a lot of damage potential, however, all of that utility, all those shields and CC from the rest of Resurgence's team is just way too much once Marky gets taken out of the picture.
What happened there was TME just completely lost that fight. Rock, with that Jace build, just completely demolished everyone
Indeed.
of TME. So, if Marky's gone, who remains? It's Trevor. Trevor right now, 5-2-3, catching up in damage, but not as close as Intresso's presence in a
It's
team
the
clash.
utility, really, that Intresso is bringing to the table. The Shockwave just gives them so much value, so much CC, and potential to just turn a team fight around.
When a utility becomes your main damage, like when it comes to Orianna, that's going to be huge. So
They're
TME,
still going for it, but once again, this is going to be the
boy.
danger. Marky is range, and he has to be on the side of the Baron that's more vulnerable against
Okay, he
Resurgence.
does have the QSS now for now. Marky is invincible. Here comes the quickness. There's the Shockwave coming in.
Trevor, goodbye.
Trevor gets taken out. Marky gets jumped in there. He tries to fletch away. Everyone is on top of Marky, but Rock is there for the protection. Marky takes on Ciela. Marky's
Gets a
still
life
alive.
steal.
Marky gets a life steal. Eternal will try to take it down.
Oh.
Rock takes the kill, and now Ares is on the GLC. CC even down. Eternal is gone, but Rox has the Guardian Angel trying to take down Oops and
That's a blow.
Rox. Cell Division is there. GLC is there for the taunt, and now Cell Division will try to. Rox gets shielded by the Stand United, but it will not be enough. Rock gets taken down finally by Coops.
And I think there's going to be an ace here for TME. Quite a Pyrrhic victory, if you ask me, because even though that they get a huge win there in terms of the team fight, very, very close actually, the fact remains that they cannot get too many objectives from here. They might get the top lane turret here, but without the AD carry in the form of Marky, it's not going to be as fast because Eternal and Ciela will be up very, very soon. And looking at the replay there, JLC once again on the other side of the fight, but here they try to go for it. Let's look at how Marky, and Trevor just gets absolutely deleted here as he gets CC locked. And Marky is dealing a lot of damage, but Ares is able to just pressure him enough that he gets thrown off, and now he's in melee with the rest of Resurgence. And here, Rock just deals so much damage, and he just gets deleted. And here the GA gets popped. Very, very close actually for TME this fight.
Man, look at Rock. The star in the spotlight, center stage onto him.
Yeah, the Thailand imports for Resurgence really doing work here. Both Intresso and Rock really putting out a lot of work. And still, they have to be very, very careful because at this point, nearing 5 and 6 items, the gold lead that TME has built up really whittles down, and it's going to be up to not just their micro but their macro as well, to how they respond to rotations come from Resurgence, as well as a dragon boost that they get in terms of stats. And here comes Resurgence. TME knows that they might be doing it because they took down a ward, so now it's going to be Resurgence relaxing a little bit. So you have to be very mindful, both Trevor and Marky, because if they get caught and one source of damage is taken away, Rock and Impreso and Ciela actually, even though he's behind, will take away the show. He's
Goes
going
in for the dive, teleport is channeling
JLC for the
through.
flank.
JLC will join in the fight. He gets the taunt onto two members of Resurgence. Marky is free to hit without a Ciela. Will try to return the favor. Fate's Call is there over the wall. Ares gets it off, but Trevor will be chasing down Ciela. And now Marky remains. He takes down Eternal. Ares is very low. Copes goes in for the knockup, but Rocks flashes away.
That is one fight where neither Marky nor Trevor get caught out by CC.
And now the Baron will be the reward for TME's pickup. We did see that Ciela did get picked up by Trevor, and now the Baron is in the hands of TME. Death timers are pretty huge, 4:35 seconds, especially when you have the Baron buff.
They have to regroup for this one to get their items, spend their gold, maybe finally lock in the items for all of them. But looking at that team fight, that was one team fight where TME, Trevor, and Marky were not touched at all by Ares' CC. And that's really what makes a difference in these fights. Like, you can dodge out a shockwave and you can dodge out an explosive cast, but if you're charmed by the quickness, it just leads you to the rest of Resurgence's damage and CC. And look at that fight. JLC flanks from here, and Treso has to back off, and Koops is able to really frontline, and JLC, with so much tankiness, is able to pressure Treso away. Ciela gets taken down here. Oh, that was so close for Marky, but there he was not subject to the hard CC of Ares, and that really made a difference there. Because in all the team fights before where TME lost or it was a very close win, Ares was able to get the knock-up and the charm on either Trevor or Marky, which really put the fight in Resurgence's favor. So TME needs to look for fights where Marky and Trevor are not positioned in such a way that they die instantly, but that might actually be the game. Whoa, Ciela gets taken down immediately. That's an 80 carry, but you have to note that that's not the main damage from Resurgence. It's gonna be Rock and Intreso. They still have to be wary of that, but now they have to rotate the rest of the turrets that Resurgence still have standing, and it seems like they will just make quick work of it. Lots of attack damage and AP boost from the two Infernal Drakes and the Mountain Drake and Baron. I think they're just gonna hammer down on the nails of Resurgence's coffin as they take down each turret and inhibitor.
But I think Resurgence will claw themselves out of that coffin. They're trying to defend the wave incoming
15 seconds
from
for
TME.
Ciela.
14 seconds left for Ciela. Fate's Call. One more 64. Resurgence will not be available. Rock
Very quick
there.
pushing from TME.
Thanks to the Mountain Drake, and looking at the clear from that static shield, it will be 3 inhibitors gone. Rox is there for the tank, but one mistake is more than enough to tip the balance. Rox reconnects with his teammates. JLC has the guard
They might just have to back away from this and recall.
Abyssal. Wow, looking at how members of TME are playing very defensively. Resurgence is catching up on damage, but they do lack a solid frontline pack.
Eternal is not enough to actually defend against all the damage that TME has. But the fact remains, one opening from TME and Resurgence will swoop down and just strike them with their talons.
Oh man, and now Ciela is really behind in this game. Level 17 to a level 18 mark.
Everyone else is level 18 except for the supports. And actually Eternal is level 17 still.
And
but
this is going
at
to
this
be
point it doesn't matter much. But the most important thing really is, how are they going to play this? They have 3 inhibitors down. And TME has to close out the game. Because once these if they waste time and these inhibitors get back up, that's time for Resurgence to actually bounce back and rubber band into the game. But at this point, TME has to go hammer mode, what they usually do. Get a good team fight and smash them. At least one target, one priority target will allow them to pick apart the rest of the team. As for Resurgence, if Ares gets another good quickness and a grand entrance, it'll be game over for TME because death timers will be over a minute here if anyone dies.
And now the Baron is gone. This gives Resurgence more opportunities to defend their
Elder Drake
last
up
two
in half a
turrets.
minute.
And
That will actually give TME a lot of combat stats for the final clash.
And I think it's going to be we will be seeing the third Elder Drake being live in this game. One of the group stages. I gotta say, Resurgence, Resilient, and TME, the new phases of GPL. showing to the whole region that we are something to be feared. And looking at the timer, the Elder Trick will be live in 5 seconds. And
in
Marky
hot.
has the mentality to solo that game.
He definitely can in his lifesteal with his damage. And another important thing here is that he has the GA at this point. So and the Knight's Vow coming from Rock. So he has all the defensiveness in the world that he needs. He has the lifesteal. He has the ability to just come back from the dead if he gets bursted down. So at this point, Ares and the rest of Resurgence have to give double effort, actually, to take down the main damage source that is Marky.
Look at the wave clear from Resurgence. That Oriana.
Even super minions cannot stand a chance against Resurgence wave clear. But if TME gets a good time,
here it comes. The last clash, perhaps, for this group, for this game 1. Let's see. Marky is just going to be slowly chasing down the turret. Turret is now exposed. All the minions are catching up. Stockpiling right now. Resurgence has to fight back this last chance to try and come back. Here comes Rock for the defensive stance. Ciela is there for the stack. Coops goes in for that tower.
Marky's right around the corner.
Marky's in the corner, but he gets knocked up to the air, but flashes away. And now Ciela gets picked off. He gets the double kill, and I think this is going to be game set with TME, perhaps securing the game for game 1.
That is going to be just the nexus with all these minions closing in. It's going to be game 1 for today, taken by TME. Resurgence coming into this GPL with 1 loss. Will they recover? We'll see. But of course, very well played there by TME. A few hiccups here and there, but in the end, they were able to close out the game.
I gotta hand it to Resurgence. They really stood up against, and I thought they would bounce back from the slight mistake that Marky made, but you gotta hand it to them that they still had lacking, especially Ciela in the bot lane.
Yeah, the bot lane Kalista pick, I don't think really worked out. They weren't able to take advantage of the Ren for objectives, as well as the mobility and the AoE that you can get from the Ren in team fights. But the biggest thing here is that they were not able to shut down Marky. Even with his mistakes in positioning, in time they were just able to just recover from it in terms of the GA, the Knight's Vow, the Locket of the Iron Solari. All of that just allows Marky to survive through any CC at that late point in the game. And I see a lot of improvement for both Resurgence coming from Rigel as well as TME coming from the finals of the Philippine finals. So very well played by both teams.
And this is actually almost a 50-minute game,
yeah.
So wow, I thought this game would be quick and closed up as early as they can, but when it comes to competition like that, expect a game like this to be dragged out to 50 minutes. We've seen 3 Barons, 3 Elder Drakes, and I gotta say, this is all about endurance.
All about resilience as well. So that's game 1. We have 7 more games for you today in the Garena Premier League Summer 2017. Of course, we were your casters for that first game. I'm Atlas. With me was Vulcan. We'll see you after the break. Marky, they might go for something else in the bot lane.
Going for Ciela, he does get 1 stack. That will be 1 stun in. Glacial Pitcher for the knockout. Very low. Marky picks up the kill onto Ciela. Ares is going to be next. He flashes in. It's a tower dive by TME. Stun under the turret. Rock stacks it in. Ares very low. Marky's taking some hits. He gets the double kill. To the support. Ares is knocked into the air. Glacial Pitcher under the turret again. Marky is dominating with a flashing body slam. Might finish him off. He flashes away with a heal. He will be surviving, backing away. He still has that bounty. Coops has that cell division. Will be TME leaving him for dead.
So right now, Rock realizes that he doesn't have teleport.
4 members might get choked here. That would be a knockup denied by the Gragas. Trevor is there over that wall. Very safe indeed. Shockwave on the 2 tankiest members of TME. Trevor deletes Ciela. He gets the double kill. 2 members of Resurgence down, and it will be a chase. He flashed away. He survives. Was the stand united, but it will be Eternal taking the shutdown. Now members of TME are being choked right now by Resurgence. 2 members left for dead right now, and it will be them backing off Rock. 6 to kill onto Coops. Marky, small mistake, pays them the prize. Marky is very low. Stand United is there for the protection. Marky will be taken out by Rock, and there is no more damage, but Trevor still remains. He's on a rampage, but Rock, he gets the double kill. Look at the damage from the chase, and a triple kill for Rock. It's the battle of the burst. Right. Q assist off right now. Marky is invincible. Here comes the quickness. There's a shockwave coming in.
Trevor, goodbye.
Trevor gets taken out. Marky gets chunked in there. He tries to flash away. Everyone is on top of Marky, but Rock is there. Corner protector. Marky takes on Ciela. Marky's still alive. Marky gets a life steal. Eternal will try to take it down. Rock takes the kill. And now Ares is onto GLC. CC even down. Eternal is gone. But Rox has the Guardian Angel trying to take down Oops and
That's a blow.
Rox. Cell Division is there. GLC is there for the taunt. And now Cell Division will try to do. Rox gets shielded by the Stand United. But it will not be enough. Rox gets taken down finally by Oops.
And I think there's going to be an ace here for TME.
Cook goes in for the dive. Teleport is channeling
JLC for the
through.
flag.
JLC will join in the fight. He gets the con on the two members of Resurgent. Marky is free to hit without Ciela. Will try to return the favor. Fate's call is there over the wall. Ares gets it off, but Trevor will be chasing down Ciela. And now Marky remains. He takes down Eternal. Ares is very low. Coops goes in for the knockout, but Rock the defensive stand. Ciela is there for the stack. Coops goes in for the tower life.
Marky's right around the corner.
Marky's in the corner, but he gets knocked up to the air, but flashes away. And now Ciela gets picked off. He gets the double kill, and I think this is going to be game set with TME. Perhaps securing the game for game 1.
That is going to be just the nexus with all these minions closing in. It's going to be game 1 for today, taken by TME. Resurgence coming to the GPL with 1 loss.